All right, good evening. I'm with the Hilltop Players and the cast of the Thornton Wilder play Our Town. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go around the room and ask everybody to introduce yourself and what part that you play.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Jenkins, and I play the stage manager, Mrs. Morgan, and Mrs. Foster.
Hello, I'm Mike. I play Simon Stimson, the belligerent man, Cy, and Joe Quarrel, and that's about it.
Hi, I'm Chance. I play Mr. Webb and Sam Craig.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and I play Mrs. Webb.
Hello, I'm Wyman. I play George, Professor Willie, and Joe Stoddard.
Hello, I'm Ellie, and I play Emily Webb.
Hi, my name is Mila Kaczynski, and I play Mrs. Gibbs.
Hi, I'm Juwan, and I play Doc Gibbs and Farrah McCarty.
Hi, I'm Heather Welch, and I play Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Ashabah, and I play Miss Soames and Wally.
All right, thank you. And this play is put on by your theater director, Jamie Emery, and recorded by myself, Corey Burton. So very exciting. It is for the first time that I've ever seen a theater department put on a radio production, and on all audio production. So what are the major differences that you guys have noticed from that whole scenario versus like a visual on-stage play versus what we're doing right now? What, and first to chime in, I guess, what were the major differences, Mila?
Well, we had to work on characterization a lot more than we normally would because you don't have the visuals to kind of tell you about the character. So you have to show your age through your voice, you have to show your emotion through your voice because you can't see the facial expression that you're making or how your makeup is done. So that was really challenging, but also really interesting to like dive that deep into our characters.
Absolutely. Did you want to add something?
It's a lot harder to actually put yourself into the story because usually when you're doing a visual play, you're in costume, you're speaking with the characters, you're moving along with the actions of the characters. But when we're doing it this way, we're sitting down and we're not actually interacting with people because we can't. And it's a lot harder to actually put yourself in the mind of the story.
Now, Heather, you were playing the role of Rebecca. What was it like playing a younger character and trying to kind of get into an age that's significantly younger than what you are right now?
It's honestly pretty difficult, but you just have to persevere and remember that, like, even though people can't see you, you have to kind of experiment with it. Like, you gotta do a bunch of different voices and then find the one that works best. And it's like when people can't see that you're younger, you have to like sound a lot younger than you actually are in the show. So yeah,
absolutely. And Wyman, Chance, what did you guys notice about trying to figure out how you want your character to sound? What inspirations did you draw from? What were the biggest challenges as far as getting your character to sound the way you wanted to?
I was usually when I like do characters, Miss Emery calls it doing caricatures. I tend to make some goofy voices, and she usually wants me to like stray away from that because it's not like honest acting. But like with Joe Stoddard and Professor Willard, she gave me a little more liberty to do like caricatures. So really it was just like you just test a couple voices, whichever one feels right for that part. That's just the one you go with. And when I was having trouble with Joe Stoddard, Miss Emery told me to like try and like put a hunch in my back, like try and embody an old man to help me like stay in character, and that helped out a little bit too.
Okay.
When it came to Mr. Webb, I thought of it like, well, he's an editor for a newspaper, so he's probably a lot much older, and he has kids. And so I was just like, let me find a voice that, shows the type of person that he is.
Yeah.
And then when it came to Sam Craig, basically he was coming back to town, so he when he left, he's probably a lot younger. So I had to find a voice that made him sound like he was, grown, somewhere in his like 30s.
Okay.
Just basically use that voice.
I feel like Morgan Freeman was one of your inspirations for, I think, your Dr. Gibbs voice. So that was pretty funny there. So Kayla, this question for you and Mike, as far as the challenges of finding that character and the challenges of knowing that no one's going to see this, they're only going to hear it. So I'm going to start with you, Kayla. What was the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge for me was trying to make myself sound older than I am because I sound really young. That was the biggest challenge. And also, like Mila and Heather were saying, getting into the character really, because it usually, what helps is me being on stage and interacting, just like Ellie said. That helps with my characterization. So it was really hard trying to read and get the audience to, understand my characterization, basically.
Absolutely. Mike, what about you?
I have a lot of difficulties with my character since, like, he's drunk, and there's not a lot of things I can do. I mean, I can, but like showing like how I'm drunk can only like work with my voice, which can be difficult since like you don't want to like ruin your lines or something involving like your characterization. And so like I try to be more, I guess in a way, I guess what I'm trying to say is trying to make my character like more believable, because like in this town it's like everybody like knows you, so trying to like be different from them can be a little bit challenging.
Okay, and this question is for the first one who wants to pop up. Us living in Tennessee and the setting taking place in New Hampshire, was fighting the Southern accent difficult?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I have these big, long speeches most of the time, and it's just very hard for me to do accents or dialects at all in general. I'm not entirely sure why. So having to try and like not go into a Southern accent for like minutes at a time while you're speaking and just kind of like try not to lose focus can be a little difficult, but it got easier with time, definitely.
Yeah. How much practice did you have? I mean, you had these beefy monologues, and then you're trying not to talk in a Southern accent. Does that take a lot of work at home? You're driving down the road, you're in the shower, you're making yourself a sandwich, whatever you're doing, you're trying to talk in the accent that you want for the show.
I definitely listened to the recordings because we had pre-recordings of the dialects, and I tried to listen to them a lot. I practiced like little bits of it. I didn't try and go the entire like speech because I didn't want to wear out my voice doing the accent, but I don't know. I practiced a lot, but I felt like if I practiced a lot, I would get into this rut of where, I could just make it better and better. And I'd be there for like 4 hours and still be discontented. So it's a fine balance for me, having to find a good time to practice without getting like over analyzing stuff.
Absolutely. So, Jawan and Ms. Bott, how did you guys prepare for this play? How did you guys prepare for your roles?
Personally, I had to find, what stood out to me with my character, because, we only had a couple of weeks, like we stated previously with different other questions. So, I figured out that she didn't have any children, and, she didn't have, like, the greatest husband. I'm talking about Mrs. Soames. So, she used gossip and was very over dramatic. So, I really had to just embody that and, once again, not get Southern.
Right.
But yeah, it was a little weird, definitely, because I've never really played an older role, but I feel like mostly just practicing on, embodying like not having children and, like just trying to somehow find yourself in the situation where, you have to grasp onto gossip to make you who you are.
All right. Jawan, what about you? How did you prepare? What were the biggest challenges for you?
So I thought it was difficult, like playing a doctor, because like I don't really know that many doctors. So and like having kids and stuff and trying to play like an older role, like she said. I tried to like read over my lines and just practice it whenever I could.
Okay. Did you use any sort of outside inspiration when you were practicing? Did you listen to anybody else or any other?
Like Andy said, like I listen to like dialect things.
Okay. Yeah.
So like try to get the accent.
Yeah, that's important to try to nail the accent because you don't want to sound like you're from Tennessee, transplanted into New Hampshire in 1901. That stuff didn't really happen all that much. But so I'm gonna go around the room. Asha, I'm gonna start with you. Okay. The biggest learning experience from this whole radio production?
As Mila kind of stated, I think it's definitely, trying to, because in this situation, it's brand new. We've never experienced something like this, at least in our generation. So, and personally me, plays, I'm always in person, I'm in a costume. So I think it was really interesting and like a great experience to embody a character that you don't, have the elements that you usually have to bring it all together. So I feel like the biggest learning experience was definitely that. And even when we're out of this pandemic, I will definitely use that in the future.
Okay, Heather?
That's kind of a hard question. I feel like I've learned a lot because, it's like when you're in a pandemic, I guess, I mean, most people don't nobody before has really had to deal with this, but I think that in itself is a learning experience because for me, I know the lack of motivation has not been there since August. So I think this gave me a little bit more hope that everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that gave me more motivation. So I think that's honestly the best thing for me. So, yeah.
Okay. Juan? What have you learned? What's the one thing that stood out to you that you've learned from this whole experience?
Okay, so I think I learned how to act better because it's my first time. It gives me something to do during COVID. That's a way to do. And,
okay.
Other than stay in the house.
Yeah. Okay. So really spicing up your acting chops. Okay, Mila?
I feel like I learned that there's always a way, because at first we were supposed to hold our musical in the summer and then we weren't able to do that. Mm-hmm. And then we were supposed to have Breakfast Club in the fall, and we weren't able to do that. And then Miss Emery was like, okay, we have to do something. And so we ended up doing Our Town. And at first I was kind of an audio play. How's that going to work? How's that going to be interesting and engaging? But I feel like everyone did a really, really good job at being engaging and making it interesting. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of showed me even if things seem like everything is I was about to curse, my bad. Everything is just gone downhill and nothing is working out. There's always something that's going to be positive.
Right.
So that's what I learned.
Just from that, I was about to learn how to use the censor beep. So
we don't have to now.
I guess thanks for that. All right. Ellie, what about you?
I feel like I learned just how much detail can go into something that seems simple from an outside perspective. When we first read through this play and when we were first looking at it, I thought it was a really simple story. Mm-hmm. And then the more we worked through it and could see the ways little things connect, yeah. I was just amazed at how complex this story is, even though it just seems like a normal story of someone living through their life, but there's so much within that. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't truly know until, things aren't as simple as they seem all the time. So that's good. Wyman, what about you?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Of course I will, Wyman. You knucklehead. All right. What's the thing that stood out to you the most? What's the thing you learned?
Okay.
From this experience?
Okay, honestly, what I learned, what stood out to me, I guess, I don't know, what, I'm just, whenever y'all hear that question, I just go back to my biggest challenge. It's just because,
Do you want me to come back to you? I can come back to you. Kayla, help him out here. Save your guy Wyman here.
Thing that stood out to me. Well, I don't know. I
what did you learn?
Thought that this was very different.
Very different.
Doing the whole play as an audio. And it was very fun. You know, I thought it was very fun seeing everyone. And, just, yeah. I just thought it was very different and challenging. Just because, like I said earlier, the characterization and getting people to feel your emotion and through the audio and things like that. But yeah, that's how I felt.
Okay, Chance, what did you learn?
I think the biggest learning challenge for me was basically being able to stay in character and developing your character day by day. Because this was something that we basically worked on for like 2 months, a month now. And basically, just being able to build up the character just from like reading the lines, finding out the type of person they are, and just basically making that person you.
Okay, Mike.
What stood out to me is audio isn't easy, but it's kind of difficult because there's a lot of things that kind of makes things like difficult. Like I can't think right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's just like it's a lot of things that audio is compared to like theater is like you can't like see the acting, but like your voice like it's like about the voice compared to like your body, because there's a lot more movement in theater, but in audio just one voice and you're trying to like characterize it a lot, trying to make your character like stand out or like trying to make it more believable.
All right, Kennedy.
So something I learned was, okay, first off, I have kind of a low self-esteem, so I don't think I'm really good at things that I'm like good at, and I don't really pay attention to a lot of my the good parts about myself and my talents. I know that I am a creative person. Throughout the years from like middle school onward, I've learned that I can be in student body government, I can draw, I can sing, I can play instruments, I can do all these creative things, I can write. But I didn't ever consider acting to be something I could do seriously, because the first and only role I ever did was 2 years ago, and I basically played a caricature instead of an actual character. So I didn't really think much about, talent going into that. But I don't know. I just did a really stupid introduction, and Miss Emery plucked me up and put me in theater and then gave me a lead role, a serious lead role. And I was like, I guess I can do this if she thinks I can. And I'm really a fan of like voice acting and stuff already, so I was just very excited, and I learned that I could embody a serious character. I learned something about myself, and it was just very nice, and it was kind of a positive thing to come out of COVID, because I definitely couldn't have memorized this and done it in person. So it was a good way to get back into theater and also learn something about myself.
Definitely. And that goes without saying. That's an important aspect of embarking on any challenge, whether it's an audio play, a really hard subject or getting into a sport that you haven't played much, or any sort of activity that you want to try for the first time. I mean, it's all confidence boosters and self-esteem checkers and things like that. And, you learn a lot about yourself when you embark on something you've never done before. So, Wyman, I'm back to you, man. I gave you some time.
You can do it.
All right.
So you can do it.
I think I got it this time.
I think you do. You have a great answer.
Attempting to the words I was trying to say earlier. Like basically, I'm like a walking caricature. Like, I don't really take like a lot like serious. So having to do like honest acting, like even in the last play and this play, like those are always my biggest challenges. So it was just like I don't know, just having to go into like and going into a scene or something and trying to be and trying to be trying to take on the role and just be serious. Like if I was trying to have a serious conversation, putting myself into like a situation or using like a past experience or something to make it feel like authentic. That was like the biggest challenge, learning experience, takeaway, something like that.
Okay.
And it's just because by nature I'm silly, so taking something like this,
just learning different roles, and not getting solely into comedy and playing dramatic roles. Yeah, that's something a lot of actors dream of, even the ones that are making the huge dollars. So that's very good. So want to encourage everybody listening to this, catch these 3 acts. Catch Our Town by Thornton Wilder. The Hilltop Players did a tremendous job putting on this production, and you should listen to it. It'll change your life. All right. As you're driving around, it'll give you something entertaining. You'll feel yourself in Grover's Corner in 1901. And so great job, guys. And this will be, you'll see this and you'll be able to hold on to this for the rest of your life. So, I mean, it'll be great. It was a great experience, and, wish all of you well. So thank you, and take a bow.